Hey, good morning guys. Welcome to Ham Radio with K0PIR, my YouTube channel. Say, if you haven't already, please click on that subscribe button below. And if you want to be notified when I put out a new video, ring that bell. I'll be putting out more videos on Wfview. And I have a post on my website, k0pir.us, that has a lot of screen captures. So you might want to take a look at that, and it'll have information that I forget to put in the video. So first what I'm going to do is show you how to download it and install it. And I've got this link on my web page. And you want to go to it. I'm going to do it for Windows. And I'll just click on the download button. And when it downloads, it goes to my downloads folder. I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it again. It's right here. So I'm going to show it in the folder. And I hope you can see that cursor. I forgot to start my little highlighter. But anyway, there it is in my downloads folder. And I'm going to right click on it. I'm right-handed. I use a right-handed mouse. So the secondary mouse button, right click on it and then go to extract all. And I'll just leave it there. And click extract, and I can replace the destination just so you can see what it looks like. There you go. And then it opens up to that extracted folder. And the extracted file in here is the installation file. So when you get to this point, you just want to double click on it and it'll walk you through the installation process. And I won't do it. It's pretty simple. There's one thing I'll show you. In Windows, it'll bring up this little window, and all you have to do is click on more info and then run anyway, and it'll install Wfview. And I just install it to the default location, the one that's in the application when it goes through the installation process. So once you get it installed, you can go to search, and you'll usually see it in here, but I'm going to type in Wfview, and there's the app. And what I do is I pin it to the start, and I pin it to the taskbar so I can find it easily. And it's right down here. And I've already clicked on it once to open it up. You can also find it over here in the programs. If you go to this little window in the bottom left, if you select all apps, you can scroll down to the W in alphabetical order. And there it is. And you can open up the program from there. But I like to put it down at the taskbar because I've been using it a lot and it works really well. And before I go any further, I'm connected with a USB cable to my Icom 7300, and you'll want to have your radio set up first if you haven't used software with it. And if you go to my website, up in the top menu bar, there's the Icom 7300 screen captures. And if you set up your radio just like mine, then you can operate all the software that I operate, and you won't have to go back in the radio and change stuff. So once you get your radio set up, open up Wfview, and I believe it stands for waterfall view. I'm not sure, but Wfview, and it's a real neat little program. And I'm going to go over to settings. I have these screen captures on my web page, the posts that I put up. But the first one is the radio access, and I'm using the USB cable. And you can use the network. You can use it like RSBA1. That's what I use over here. Remotely, this is my 7610 up in Pier, and I've been using it. But for this video, I'm just using it with the USB cable. And this is not the CIB cable, the one that plugs into the remote port on the back of the radio. This plugs into the USB port on the back of the radio. So it's basically a printer cable. And you want these two checked off. And then 94 is the CIB address for the 7300. If you're using a 7610, it would be 98. And different Icom radios have different CIB addresses. And that's how it's going to know which model to use. Because it's going to see the CIB address and it'll know which model radio you have. Then you want to select your COM port, and if you don't know what it is, you can go down to open up Device Manager. go down to search and just type in device. Bring up device manager, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. At the ports, COM ports, I've got COM5. That's my cable, the CP210X, the USB cable. But up here I have COM1, and that's because I'm using VSPE, Virtual Serial Ports Emulator. So I can use two programs to control the radio. And I've got a video on this. I'll put a link in the top right. You'll see it up there. And you can set up Virtual Serial Port Emulator. You can use it for free. You might get tired of the questions that it asks every time you open it up, like, do you want to buy it? And I think that's the question. And then you can click no and continue to use the app. But I went ahead and purchased it. It's about the price of a cable. It's around $22 or $24. So I've been using it a lot. And you can set it up just like I do on my video. And this is so COM5 turns into COM1. And that's where this comes from. So I can use this program with COM1, and then I also use my logging program with COM1. And let's see, I've been using AC log, N3FJP's AC log, and WSJTX, and I'll show you more about that later in a different video. But anyway, you select your COM port, and the baud rate's got to be 115.2 because of the waterfall. Go to user interface, and I've changed this a little bit. Let me increase the size, and you can take a look at the colors I have in there. So if you like my colors, I've changed a few, and I saved the preset. But yeah, this isn't real important. You know, once you get it operating and you like it, then you can go in and fiddle with the colors in there. Go to radio settings, and I don't think I changed anything on this, but the modulation input is, of course, the microphone, and data mod input is, of course, USB. It's USB-D on the 7300. And I haven't set the clock or anything. I haven't tried that. The radio server, this is if you're going to be using it remotely, like I use with my 7610 and RSBA1. We'll go into that probably in another video. External control, and I am using rig CTLD, and I'm using this with WSJTX, and I'll show you that in a different video when we get to WSJTX. But so that's why this is enabled and the port's set up there. And then there's nothing under experimental. So we can go back over to view, and I'll show you a couple things real quick that I like. I like the simple controls. Audio and the RF, of course, and the transmit power here, and let's see, the references in there. I haven't played with too much of this stuff. I've just been operating it, using it just to make sure it stays connected and I can actually use it to go to a different frequency. I'm in a bad spot right now. I'm in Cullman, Alabama, operating portable. And I'm in a bad spot, so this waterfall doesn't really look very good. There's a lot of noise in there, you can see. But when I was out of town down in Florida, and I was using it with quiet conditions and lots of signals on the waterfall, boy, it was really slick. I really liked it. It looked really nice, and so it was useful. So right, it shows the frequency over here. It shows the mode. And it's the scroll fixed mode, and I like this. You can change it. Now I really like the edge. I can change the edges, and I can do a custom edge in there. And right now I'm on edge 1, and that's from 3750 up to 4000. So I could change that to number 2. It's got 4 in there. I change that to number 2, and I guess that was the same edge. There, okay, the fourth one's 3950 and up to 4000. Let's see if I can see a signal in there. I'll click on it to change frequency. If you see a signal in there, Let me turn up the audio. Just click down here in the waterfall where it is, or double click, and then I use my mouse wheel to fine tune. Oh, we lost him. Here's one. Yeah, as soon as I find one, I lose them. But I use my mouse wheel to fine tune, so I'll click on it or double click on it. It moves the tuning line over, and then I use my mouse wheel to fine tune it. And you can see the frequency change when I move my mouse wheel. See it change there. And so that comes in real handy. And I can clear the peaks. And there's the waterfall that's enabled. The theme over here. I've got my meter set up for power and then SWR, and that is set up in the settings again. And I believe it's the what is it? It'd be this one. The secondary meter is SWR. I didn't go over that, did I? Yeah, enable push to talk controls, and then the select the secondary meter, and I'm using SWR. And then the rest of this, it really doesn't matter. Go back over to view, and I'll show you another thing that I like about it. I can change the modes in here, but this receive filter, I'm on number 2, and if I click on show more, it brings up this little form, and the IF shift. So if I'm listening to a station in there, and there you go. If I'm listening to a station, I got the IF shift pulled down just a little bit, and let me hit my push to talk. That's the default. But I don't really like that at the high frequency in there. So I pull that down a little bit. It moves both of these sliders, and it just acts as an IF shift. And you can watch the front of your radio, and you'll see the passband change. So I usually have it set about right there. So I really like that. And let me pull this down again. Oh, what else is in there? Got the auto tuner in there. Oh yeah, once you go through your settings, what you want to do is go down here and click Save Settings. Don't forget to do that. After you make all your settings, the first thing you want to do is Save Settings. Okay, well that does it, and that's just a brief overview. I'll have more on this in another video and another post, and maybe I'll get it set up to operate remotely like RSBA1. I'll try it out first. I like to try these programs out before I make a video on them. I want to make sure they work, and you know, people can be relatively sure that they're going to work on their radios and their computers. But this is a neat little program. It's just in its infancy, and it's just starting out. The guys are working on it pretty hard. They're taking recommendations or their wish list, and if you go to their website, let me bring that up again. You go to their website and click on support, join their support group, and when you're in there, you can see all of the different topics that they have. And of course, this works with other radios, other Icom radios, 7300, 7610. The 705, I see people using it, and there's 703 as it supports 703, 7851, and this is it's a neat program, and I've loaded it on my MacBook Pro. I've been using it on it too, but MacBook Pro, my Windows computer, Windows 11, and then Linux. I haven't loaded it on my little Linux laptop, but I'll get around to doing that later. And of course the Raspberry Pi. I see people using it with the Raspberry Pi. So not sure quite how that works, if it works very well or not, but you can go on there if you have a Raspberry Pi and research it and see if you want to do it. So that's about it for the video. Thanks for watching. This is a brief overview, like I said, and I hope you get it set up. If you got any questions, please make them below. Write your questions below. Post them to the YouTube channel under this video, or go to my website and post a comment there. And then as last resort, send me an email, and I'm good on qrz.com. And if you hadn't noticed, there's a line of t-shirts or sweatshirts at the very bottom of my YouTube channel. And if I bring it up here, well, I'm not going to do it, but if you see those line of shirts down there, it's Ham Tees by K0PIR. If you want to support this channel, head on over to my t-shirt shop and pick out a design that you like. I also have coffee mugs in there, and you can help support this channel. So thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Also tell your friends. 73 and good DX.